Today, we're diving into a story about how one single, totally normal conversation in a chemistry lab completely changed someone's life. It's a great reminder that sometimes the biggest shifts start in the smallest, most unexpected moments. One conversation changed everything. When you hear a phrase like that, you expect some huge, dramatic event, right? A thunderclap moment. But the story we're looking at today is, well, it's different. It shows how the most important changes can happen quietly, almost without you even noticing it first. I mean, think about all the conversations we have in our lives. Most of them are pretty forgettable, right? Some are deep, some really make you think or feel something. But this story is about that last one on the list, that super rare kind of conversation that just quietly removes a block in your head that you never even knew you had. Okay, so to really get why this one conversation was such a big deal, we have to understand where our narrator was coming from. He had this whole philosophy built around being alone, a kind of purposeful isolation, especially in his first year of college. So, picture this. It's his first year of college, first semester, he's in this busy chemistry lab, and he's alone. But here's the thing. It wasn't a sad or angry kind of alone. Nope, it was a choice, a deliberate decision that was driven by a really strong belief he had. And this is what's so interesting, right? On the outside, he just looked alone. But that simple appearance was powered by this really complex, really strong belief system that told him this was the right way to be. And this was his core philosophy. It was kind of cynical for sure, but also weirdly logical. After 4 years, you'll be you, I'll be me, then why should we get close? This one single idea was the rule book for all of his social interactions. And that brings us to the moment everything started to shift. It wasn't some big, dramatic scene. It was just a simple question, asked by a lab partner in the middle of a totally normal experiment that began to pull apart that entire 4-year mindset. This was the question. This is what just cut right through that wall he'd built around himself. It was so direct, so out of the blue. Someone had actually noticed he was keeping his distance and was just curious. It wasn't an attack, just a genuine question. And his answer, wow, it was just as direct and brutally honest. He actually answered in his native Tamil, which tells you just how raw and authentic this moment was. He basically just laid his entire philosophy out on the table, right there in the lab. And here's the really wild part. After saying it, our narrator, he felt nothing. To him, it was just the truth. But his lab partner was deeply disturbed by this view of the world. And that reaction, well, that's what set everything else in motion. So this is where the story takes a really interesting turn. You'd think that kind of cynical answer would push someone away, right? But his lab partner did something totally unexpected. This next part is all about how a real connection was built, not through words, but just through quiet, consistent presence. His lab partner just started showing up. He didn't argue, he didn't try to change his mind. He just stayed. He was just there, without forcing anything, without questioning the whole philosophy. It was just this quiet act of acceptance. I mean, their bond got so strong that our guy could be completely, bluntly honest. He once told his friend that his girlfriend was the reason he didn't have many other friends. Can you imagine saying that? Instead of getting angry, his friend just understood. He didn't even change. That is a profound level of acceptance. So the feeling that grew out of this wasn't some big, exciting emotion. It was trust. And the source here defines it perfectly. Trust is simply the feeling of being normal around someone. No masks, no pretending, no acting social. You can just be. And you can just see how this one friendship completely transformed his entire college experience. It starts with that one conversation. And then suddenly they're sharing everything, going to events, bunking classes, complaining about annoying staff. And notice what didn't happen. Their schoolwork didn't suffer, life didn't fall apart. Actually, the opposite. By the 3rd year, college started to feel good. The world just felt lighter. So, what's the big takeaway from all of this? This whole journey didn't just get him a friend. It gave him an entirely new philosophy for connecting with people, one that replaced that old, rigid mindset he used to have. And his new mindset is so simple, it's brilliant. It's all about letting go of control, you know? If someone stays, they stay. If they leave, they leave. You can't force it. The only thing you can actually do is just appreciate the company you have, right here, right now. And that brings us to the final and maybe most powerful point. It's about shifting your focus away from trying to control other people to the one thing that is truly 100% in your hands. And what is that? Be yourself. Don't wear a mask. It is that simple and that profound. By just dropping his own social mask, he allowed a real, genuine connection to actually form. Authenticity, that's the key that unlocks trust and real friendship. So let's end with a question for you to think about. Reflecting on this story, if you're feeling a bit isolated or disconnected yourself, what is one social mask, even a small one little pretense, that you could decide to just let go of today? What do you think might happen if you did?